everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
Everything is fine here on Detention Block AA23, a Star Wars podcast. I'm Mike, joined by Dustin, here to talk Star Wars with all you fans out there. Get the business elements out of the way really quick. If you're listening to us right now, hit that subscribe button, like this video, comment, rate, review, all of it. Any little thing you can do, we greatly appreciate it as it helps get our podcast and YouTube channel name out there amongst all the other Star Wars channels, which there are quite a bit. On top of that, our chat is up and running. So come talk to us through the chat. Give us your opinions, thoughts, all of the above. Yeah, some things to dive into today. Bear with me. I am extremely tired. I did not sleep at all, nor did my wife, because our son was up crying all night, and I am extremely tired. And I know Dustin's got to get up early in the morning too. So we're going to try to get through this probably as fast as possible, but still want to make sure we dedicate the time to the conversation we want to have. Which the first thing I want to speak to, I know it's kind of buzzing around right now, but RIP to Val Kilmer. Tragic news of his passing from pneumonia. Has been battling throat cancer for the past few years and ultimately succumbed to pneumonia. But he was 65 years old. I honestly was hoping it was a April Fool's thing because you always get those April Fools, I don't know, around social media, like someone had passed away and then they're like, just kidding, which is awful. Like, not a good way to do a joke by talking about people's passing, but this one is legit. And obviously, he's known for some major roles like in Top Gun, Batman. Well, it was Batman Forever, I think it was. I think that was the one he was in.
Yep, Batman Forever.
And then he was also up for consideration on a Star Wars note for the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi in Phantom Menace. So there is a Star Wars connection there. But yeah, tragic news nonetheless of his passing. He was a great actor. Anything you want to speak to on that, Dustin?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I think he's been in bad health for a long time, bad shape. So, if he was suffering, I guess the, only solace you can take is, that suffering is ended.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he was Doc Holliday in Tombstone, which
Oh
I
yeah,
think
that was a great movie.
a great movie and a great performance by him. You and I spoke to this before. I roll my eyes at, if you are on X or whatever social media platform, you just get all these engagement farmers like posting
Mm-hmm.
all these clips about Val Kilmer in these movies, and and there's always something like, oh, this is my favorite movie ever. It's like you couldn't care less if but now there's an event that you can hone in on to engagement farm.
Right.
I mean, I don't like what social media is becoming, to be frank, and I think a lot of people don't, but that's part of I guess it's part of social media that I see kind of being overrun, is these engagement farmers that are just posting content that all it is it's like Oreos for
Yeah.
social media. There's no nutritional value to it, right? And so anyway,
Hey, Oreos are vegan, if you didn't know. So
oh yeah, yeah. Well, I don't think that makes them any healthier.
no.
So, and and it's a good parallel to social media, right? Because I mean, it's not healthy, and it's not healthy that I even care, to be honest with you. But I roll my eyes at it. Is kind of really what it is. But yeah, it sucks. I mean, 65 is pretty darn young,
Yeah.
nowadays. And, he obviously was in the latest Top Gun movie, and that was very emotional. And I know Tom Cruise had a lot to do with that. So I do find it interesting. Not necessarily on passings of people, but like now, like let's say there's like 30 years of time that's passed for a movie that's become like a cult classic, and then you find out like all of the actors that like passed on the role. Like for instance, so on Monday it was the 30-year anniversary for The Matrix,
Sure.
and apparently Will Smith was up for that role. But
Yeah.
my question is like, how up for the role were they? Like, was it
That's
just like
valid.
was it just like the producers discussing like who's really hot right now, and then they just mentioned the name, and then that person now is up for the role? Like, I mean, was it serious at all? Like, were they ever going to cast Will Smith in a million years, or was his name just hot during that time? And
I think
so
that's valid.
I just find it funny because that comes out of the woodwork too. Is oh, the 30-year anniversary of Matrix. Did you know that Val Kilmer, and I think he actually was, Val Kilmer was maybe up for the role of Neo, but it's like how much of that, like did they do one audition and they're just like not going to be a great fit for what we're looking for?
Or
Like
they
that's not
wrote,
up for a role. That's like
or they wrote his name on a piece of paper, but then never like pursued it. But he was thought of.
so like these things get overblown because again
Mhm.
it's great for social media
Yeah,
farming, right?
yeah,
Oh, did you know that Val Kilmer was up for the role of Neo? Or like you were saying, did you know that he was up for the role of Obi-Wan? But like, was he just, like, was it just written down on a piece of paper and then someone goes, I don't think that's the right fit. And then you move on. That's like, that's not good documentary stuff.
yeah.
Like you wouldn't film a series with that. So
Well, especially
anyway,
after fact too, because like many of these up for the role, you see the movie and then you think back and it's like, I don't know if I can really see that person playing in that role. Like nothing against Val Kilmer. We've been praising him this whole time, but I just cannot see him portraying Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Phantom Menace after, seeing Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original trilogy and, Ewan McGregor's portrayal of him. So
I think one thing about our generation that's I think hitting I don't know if it's any different than prior generations, but we're living in it right now is like this revisionist history that
yeah,
we're obsessed with. Like, what if this happened? And what if this happened when I was,
yeah.
like it's like, you know, it's cool to think about. It's a good, decent discussion topic, but again, like how much reality is actually involved in these discussions.
Well,
So
and the discussions are kind of moot too, outside of the fact of like entertainment purposes. But there's really like
yeah,
it's kind of
like okay, so
meaningless.
it's like what if Nelson Cruz caught that ball
Yeah,
in the World Series with St. Louis? Well, I mean, like, who cares? What if it didn't happen? Like,
right.
it's there's no sense in dwelling over that. It's not even, it's almost like just a waste of brain space.
I will say what ifs are probably more interesting when it like deals with something that's not real world. Like what
Yeah.
if like Marvel, what if this happened? Or Star Wars, what if that happened? But when you do
Hey,
it with
there's a really
real,
cool show called Man in the High Castle, and it's what if the Nazis won?
yeah, that's right. I have heard of that.
It's a really cool show, and they do some really cool things with it.
Yeah,
So, like, what if is I think better for fiction.
yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. So again, just want to give, praise and recognition to Val Kilmer. It's tragic, but I'll drink one to you. Um,
I'll drink my agua.
your agua. And again, many great roles he's portrayed, and he will be missed. So R.I.P. Val Kilmer.
One positive thing I do want to say though about
Yeah,
these engagement farming is there are some movies I've never seen that he's been in. Like I've never seen Heat,
I
and
haven't either.
but I mean, like I've heard that's a really good movie. So I I think I think I'm gonna give it a little time because I know what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go try to find that movie and the price of it's gonna be jacked up, right? Like you're not gonna find it on a
Probably,
streaming service,
probably.
right? Like it's gonna be jacked up. You're gonna have to pay $20 to watch a movie, 40 years old, right? And the same goes for uh Tombstone.
Mhm.
I've seen Tombstone, but I
Yeah, I
want to
have to.
rewatch it. It's been a long time. And then he was in a movie called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It was
With
like a
Robert
buddy
Downey
cop
Jr.,
movie.
right?
Yeah, I kind of want to go back and see that. I've never seen that movie, but again, so I like the fact that I'm getting at least glimpses of these movies that I want to go back and see, but I know I'm going to get price gouged on it, so I'm going to kind of wait until things level out.
There's a great line that Val Kilmer has in that Kiss Kiss Bang Bang movie. He's talking to Robert Downey Jr. and he's talking about how stupid Robert Downey Jr.'s character is. And he's like, "Do you know what you would see if you looked up the word stupid in the dictionary?" Robert Downey Jr. is like a picture of me. He's like, no, the definition of stupid, you idiot. I think that's a hilarious line.
That's pretty good. That's a dad joke.
That is so a dad joke, but like dad joke to the extreme, like actually funny. But all right. Well, really the main thing we wanted to cover today is there was an announcement that there is another show that will be coming out this year in May. I can't remember what day, like early May or something like that. But they are going to do another Tales of the animated show, and this one is Tales of the Underworld. And it sounds like it's going to focus around both Asajj Ventress and Cad Bane. So as we've seen the previous Tales of, it usually has 3 episodes for one character and 3 episodes for another. You know, Tales of the Jedi, we had Ahsoka, and we had Dooku. And then for Tales of the Empire, we had Morgan Elsbeth, and then what's her name? The Jedi that fell, that became an Inquisitor. Spacing on it right now, but that's the strategy they're going to take for this show. Again, Asajj Ventress, Cad Bane, and they're supposed to be like their bounty hunter roles. So we'll get a little bit more information to fill in the gaps on their stories that we haven't heard. So interested to see how they go with these. Asajj Ventress is a fantastic character. She was one of my favorites from the Clone Wars. Cad Bane is also a very captivating villain, very interesting. So I was not the biggest fan of Tales of the Empire, but really like Tales of the Jedi. So hopefully this one is more on the Tales of the Jedi side. And they did release a trailer with it as well. So we both haven't watched, at least I don't think you've seen it. Have you seen it?
No, I purposely. I
Okay.
saw it come up a couple times in the social media feed. I'm like, I'm gonna wait to get a true reaction. But you know, we've seen these before, and definitely excited for it. They've been good. I mean, the Dooku series was really intense.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
That episode with Yaddle. Yeah. Our minds were on. What's that?
It was dark.
It was. And the music and the scoring in that episode was just on point with, you know, everything that, and got the Emperor him. It was so good. So again, that's why I hope it's more on that level, because it just didn't hit the same way with Tales of the Empire. So one of these days we're going to get Tales of the Sith, and I have a feeling that's going to be really good too. So, all right. Well, I will pull up the trailer. Let me share my screen from my iPad, so bear with me here.
Yeah, while you're doing that, my father-in-law was at the Brewer game. That was a good game to go to.
Oh, he was? Today's?
Yeah, today's game. It's spring break week for my niece, so they took her, and Carly, my sister-in-law, went. So yeah, I mean, They got some free baseball out of it, you know, 3-2 wins for extra innings. Yeah.
Well, at least they didn't go to one of the first 4 games, because not the greatest start we had.
Yeah. Well, you know, you had to go against those torpedo bats.
I mean, that probably had something to do with it, but that's not why we lost.
I know. I was just kidding.
But of course, it's the Yankees, right? The Yankees that are the ones that are doing something new. And I feel like if the Brewers did that.
I know it's not. Very brief. I mean, it's come out that they were not the originators of the torpedo bat. It's been around for a little bit.
People were using them last year too. So
yeah, it's just now a thing because they've had such early success.
When you hit 14 home runs in the first 3 games, you're obviously going to start some kind of conversation around it, and people are going to be like, all right, why is that? The easiest thing they could correlate that to was the torpedo bat. So all right. Again, Dustin, when I start this, give me the thumbs up just to make sure that you're getting audio, and we'll watch it this first time, and we won't really interact, just kind of watch it. And then we'll give our first thoughts, and then we'll go back, watch it a second time, and we'll kind of talk through it, or, you know, ask questions or comments. So, all right. So we'll do the first viewing in 3, 2, 1.
Just do as I say. Never can be too cautious with strangers out here. Then again, you're no stranger, Lady Ventress.
We got a problem here. Just saw him right in.
What's the situation?
He was your best friend. Things have changed.
You took everything from me.
Who are you?
I was Count Dooku's lead assassin. I don't want that life anymore.
Bane? No one needs to die.
Get them.
You're gonna pay for what you did.
This revenge. I hope it was worth it.
It will be.
Boner jams.
Makes sense that it would come out May 4th. All right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get rid of those. So yeah, what are your initial thoughts?
Really excited. Looks like you said, juxtaposing viewpoint. I mean, you have adversaries of Cad Bane and the Siege of Interest. If I were to guess, I would say that the Inquisitor that she's fighting is the one that Ahsoka dispatches like instantly.
That's a good thought. That's a good thought. Oh, I know what you're doing. I hope so, because then it'd be nice to get some more screen time with that Inquisitor, because he seemed pretty cool.
This is such a cool mask. I need
It
to
is a very
actually.
cool mask.
I need to
Like fit it.
yeah, like I need, and the strap on the back is not quite, but
And you need to get like a cloak and everything to go with it so you can
oh, I know.
truly
I could,
cosplay it.
like,
We need to get you a lightsaber. I don't think you have a lightsaber, do you? Well, you've got
I have those little plastic ones.
plastic ones.
But I think it's this guy that she's fighting.
That's a
And he's
good
got the
point.
same build.
Yeah.
And then you kind of hear, if you go back, you can kind of hear him laugh. It's kind of got that, oh man, piece of foam fell out. He's kind of got that like Count, or not Count Dooku. He's got that General Grievous laugh. So
yeah, no, that makes sense.
I mean, Cad Bane's such a cool character. He's just like cool, calm, and collected. Just a true badass. And then, of course, Asajj, her character arc has been so wonderful. Like she said, she was Dooku's assassin, and now I always thought she was a Dooku's apprentice.
She was.
Yeah.
I guess the terminology is probably always in question because the rule of two, and Sidious would have been the master and Dooku would have been the apprentice. But as the way it goes with the Sith, they always try to overthrow their master, and then that's when they become the master, and they usually have like apprentice in the wing type of thing. But
yeah, well, so Maul obviously was that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be great. They're shorts, right? So they're probably 15, 20-minute episodes.
Yeah. It'll be a quick watch. You could do it in one day, which we'll probably do. We'll watch it and then we'll, talk through it. Maybe we'll cut it by each character's stories, talk about one person on one episode, and then the next week we'll talk about the other person. Interesting to see that there's a rivalry with Cad Bane. Obviously, there was like a friend that kind of either backstabbed him or he backstabbed the other guy, or their family.
It seems more like
brother.
It seems more like he was betrayed.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And it could be family because it's the same species, but could just be a friend too. Well, and I have to imagine that those are probably leading up to the events of Book of Boba Fett show, because obviously the last we see of Cad Bane, he gets killed in Book of Boba, even though they leave you on that cliffhanger because his thing is kind of still beeping. And Star Wars, never necessarily kills someone off, but it feels like it's going to fall.
Guido.
What's that?
Unless you're Guido.
Yeah, that's true. Or Qui-Gon Jinn. He's the only one that gets stabbed that actually dies. But I have to believe the events of this for both characters are going to take place between post Clone War. Well, Asajj will probably be post Clone Wars up to OT, and then Cad Bane is going to be probably up in that time leading up to Book of Boba Fett. So after original trilogy, but before the Book of Boba Fett show. So yeah, definitely curious to see. I don't know if the audio went out kind of for you. Did it delay? Mm-mm. Okay, good.
Good.
On mine, it was delayed, so I might have to fix that in post, but I'm glad that it was fine for yours.
Where in the timeline then for Asajj would the Purge be? The Jedi.
Order 66?
Yeah.
That would be, because we last see her with Ahsoka in season 7 of Clone Wars, right? And that's where she's like in the underworld.
No, we last saw her in Bad Batch.
Yeah, you're right. True. Bad Batch. So Bad Batch would be the last, which is post Order 66, but before original trilogy.
So I'm just asking because there's like a little Jedi kid with her that I don't think we've seen before.
Oh, I'm gonna have to see that again. I must have.
Yeah, he lit up a lightsaber and then he's like fighting with her on that barge. When
okay.
So there's a Jedi kid out there.
Or
the
kid took hers.
What's that?
Or the kid took hers because she should have 2 yellow sabers now.
No, this is a blue lightsaber.
Okay.
We should. We don't have to go through the whole thing because obviously that the timing of it. But if you go to those particular scenes and then like the one with the Inquisitor, I think those would be cool to look at.
Yeah, and I do want to watch the whole thing through one more time and then just point out where you're talking about, so then I can go back to that scene. So
yeah.
All right, so we will watch it a second time here, and feel free, Dustin, to talk through this one.
And I will taunt you a second time.
Second time.
You
all right.
Chicken nuggets.
That's such a great movie. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Just do as I say. Never can be too cautious.
So the post-Clone Wars for that.
Out here.
Yeah, with the droid.
That looks like Tatooine almost.
Then again, you're no stranger.
Inquisitor?
Lady Ventress.
I think that was Ventress.
Yeah.
We got a problem here. Just saw right in.
What's the situation?
His voice is so great.
Yep.
He was your best friend.
Things have changed. You took
That's
everything from me.
I don't think brother, I think friend.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I was Count Dooku's lead
That's the
assassin.
Jedi kid.
I don't want that life anymore.
That may be like young Ezra. That's the brother.
Yep.
Bane? No one needs to die.
Kind of got the same cloak.
get them.
See, there's a laugh right there. So he's got, if you actually look, there's a mask
I'm
he's
gonna
wearing.
pay
Maybe
for what you did.
there's a lightsaber.
This revenge, I hope it was worth it. It will be.
Perfect. Yeah, there are a couple things or one or two things I want to look at. I want to determine.
I think you're actually in our live
Yeah,
broadcast.
I think I'm on our live broadcast.
It's like
It's
Spaceballs.
Inception.
When is now? Now.
Right now, sir. Just then. All right. Because I want to see if we can see the mask of the Inquisitor.
Yeah, I think it might be different. It's before this.
Well, there's
You know, keep going before it. Keep going before. It's after this. You're like,
here, I'll just play it.
Crew's lead assassin. I don't want that life anymore.
here it is.
Bane? No one needs to die.
They're purposely waiting.
Yeah, there. Yeah, so I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't look
maybe
like-
maybe she fucks him up and he's got to wear a different mask.
Yeah, I bet this is an Inquisitor that's coming after that boy. Like it's either an established former like Jedi youngling that's, you know, a little older now,
Yeah,
or it's a Force sensitive kid that she took under her wing. But because he has a blue lightsaber, it tells me that he's already been an established like youngling or something like that.
yeah.
Right there. Trying to see. Look at that saber. It looks different.
Yeah, that could just be the.
Yeah, the position of it.
Well, and, you know, it's also an animated one. Sometimes the sabers kind of get animated weird in moments during the shows.
Yeah. And they're clearly training right here. She's teaching him because these are like
Yeah,
droids,
these are like droid setup for-
deactivate droids
yeah.
in the background. So I also think that was Bosk that we saw earlier on. Because if this is Underworld, then this is going to be like a lot of bounty hunters, which
Mhm.
Bosk is a very, you know,
That's
well,
probably Bane when he was a kid.
right there. I mean, it's
Yeah.
hard to, you can't really see him there, but on the left,
Yeah. There's a front shot of him, I think, for a second.
yeah, there is. It's like right after this, right there.
There he is.
That's got to be Bosk, right? Or same species at least. So, but there's a bounty puck that the other guy has, so it tells me that that's a bounty hunter, Bosk. But the other thing I was just trying to look at was that kid's lightsaber to see if it could give any indication of who it is, but I don't think we're going to be able to tell. It might
Yeah, I
be.
don't think it's any established.
No, I think it's someone new. So I think it's a new Jedi youngling, a new Inquisitor.
Which, I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. But we as we go on with time, we realize that Order 66 wasn't as successful as it was originally intended to be because we keep getting these
Yeah.
new Jedi that pop up. So
Yeah, whoopsies.
a part of me would wish they would like stop doing that because it makes Order 66 less devastating. Because think about it, like back in the day, it was only Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Yoda that were remaining. But now I think there's like someone's done the math, and it's like 40 to 50, maybe more Jedi survived Order 66. So cool
Really
beans,
speaks to the
man.
competence of the clone troopers.
All right, let me stop the broadcasting now. But yeah, super excited for it. glad that there's at least something else that's coming up this year because, as we've talked about, you've got Andor, which is just around the corner. And then after that, I think the only other thing that was announced was another season of Vision. So this will give us a little more content to talk about and just more to watch. And I'm always up for that. And the animations always do seem to do so well. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think you can take more risks and there's more you can delve into with animation. It's
Yeah.
obviously a lot cheaper.
And hey, it's something for us to do on May the 4th. We got to get you to come back here or something and do something for May the 4th.
Yeah, well, you're going to be here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I am. I'm looking forward to it. So we're going to the draft together. So Dustin lives not too far away, so he's going to play.
Now, not far away by distance, but by time, it might be just an absolute clusterfuck trying to get to Green
But
Bay.
they have shuttle buses, and shuttle buses can drive on the shoulders. So
yeah, so we should coordinate that.
yeah, for sure.
Hopefully by the time, it doesn't matter to you guys, but we have like these two like really big windows. The designer of our house designed a lot of houses, and they had these giant drapes. They were drapes, and they were ugly as shit. So they were taken down by the painter. We hired a painter to refresh the top layer of paint, and we just never put any blinds or anything up. So we had a gal come today and give us a quote. We're gonna end up putting like those roller shades up.
Yep.
So I mean, it doesn't matter to you guys because you'll be staying downstairs, but like there's like no privacy sometimes when you're sitting like in this. It's where our main TV is on our main floor. It's like if you're watching TV or if I'm playing with the kids or something,
So are the two other bedrooms in the basement too?
Where I'm at right now is where you're gonna stay.
Okay. Ooh, yes, I get one of the rooms. And I'm sure
king size bed.
I call dibs.
Yeah, that's one of the most comfortable mattresses I've ever been on.
Nice. I expect cuddles and snuggles during the visit.
So Dad says, I want snuggles now.
Okay. We'll wrap it up here pretty quickly. The only other thing I want to speak to, so there's been rumors circulating that there is potential again for season 2 of The Acolyte. So apparently there's this metric out there. It's called Parrot Analytics, and it kind of takes into consideration the attention like a certain topic or a certain show or whatever gets. And apparently this Parrot Analytics gave the show 20.4 times higher of a metric than the average or market average. So I mean that's quite a bit of a difference, 20.4 times. I will say if this is true, like if there is such a thing as this and the rumor and there's validity to the rumors, I just wonder how much of it is actually negative attention, because I feel like there was a lot of that was coming out with the release of The Acolyte. Kind of the thing is, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Whether someone's talking good about it or bad about it, it's publicity. No different than like on YouTube. If you don't like our videos and you give us a thumbs down, you're actually contributing to our channel, because it means it's an engagement, kind of what Dustin was speaking to earlier. Like the more you engage on something, the more attention it gets, the more it will be broadcasted. So like I feel like there was so much talk about not liking the show. There was a decent amount of people that enjoyed it too. It doesn't matter which side you fall on, we support both. But we ourselves didn't enjoy it, but I feel like there was a lot more conversation and a lot more attention to it in a negative light, which might have boosted this rating. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, even if the show was getting a lot of engagement, which again, negative engagement's a lot easier to cultivate on social media than positive engagement.
For sure.
But it didn't perform well. The show just didn't perform well by like other metrics that these networks and these streaming apps look at. And so I don't see how it would be a good financial decision for Disney to pursue a second season. I mean, the season one cost an absolute crap ton, and also not this soon. I mean, they canceled the show a year ago, right? Like maybe in a couple of years when the dust has settled, and maybe when Kathleen Kennedy is gone, and maybe they don't bring back I even forget her name, Leslie, whatever,
Leslie
Headland or
Headland.
something.
Yep.
I just don't see how that makes any sense. Social media engagement, again, I mean, how much does it really pay a streaming service to get social media engagement? I don't know. That's I guess a legitimate question, but I don't see how that outweighs the actual performance of the show that a streaming service will look at, meaning like hours streamed, how many, how many people, how many like accounts stream the show in like a certain time span. Those were all well below, I think, the standard. And I'm sure they've set goals for the show internally.
Oh, yeah.
And they probably did not come close to meeting those goals. So
I can't imagine.
yeah, I think, I mean, it's just a rumor, and I think that's all it'll ever be.
Yeah, because
at least a couple of years.
This is saying Parrot Analytics does not track viewership. It doesn't report how many people streamed the Acolyte on Disney Plus, how many finished it, or how many paid subscriptions it generated. Instead, Parrot measures
worthless.
Yeah. Instead, Parrot measures audience demand, a nebulous metric that includes Google searches, Wikipedia activity, YouTube views, social media mentions, piracy activity, fan content engagement, etc. So yeah, it's more fluff than actual like true metrics or true measures of like how good or bad the show was. And I think you need to hit the nail on the head. What it all comes down to is money. And there's no way the show made Disney money. And I think that's why they canceled the season.
If it did, they wouldn't have canceled it.
Right,
Simple
exactly. Thing. That's the bottom line. That's what they care about. And that's why they made the announcement of canceling it so soon. So there might be truth to this, but I just, it might be rumors for the sake of rumors, create more engagement.
That's exactly right, man. Where'd you even find the article?
It was on one of the Star Wars news outlets.
So they're probably just it's a slow time in the Star Wars news cycle, and they need content. So
let's
they found some obscure AI data farming company that came up with these metrics, and they said, "Hey, run with this article."
I mean, I've never even heard of Parrot Analytics before today, so it makes me wonder, was this recently created? But I'm sure the Parrot Analytics exists, but all right. Well, I think we will wrap it up there unless there's anything else you want to speak to or comment to. Again, Andor around the corner, Celebration around the corner. We're just as we got news about Tales of the Underworld, we're going to get some more news in the upcoming weeks. I know Zach texted us the other day. He was like, really pay attention to what's going to be announced. Made me feel like he knows something that we don't know yet. So curious to see what that might be. Just to speak to our social media handles really quick, you can find us on Twitter at DetBlockAA23pod, on Instagram at detention_block_AA_23, and our Facebook group and YouTube channel, Detention Block AA23, a Star Wars podcast. And you can find us on TikTok at DetBlockAA23. If you're listening to us, hit that subscribe button, like this video, comment, rate, review.
Dislike the video if you don't like it.
Dislike the video. It's still engagement, one way or another. We'll take it. Yeah, I think that's all we got. So as always, have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. And we look forward to, talking next week about some more Star Wars stuff. So till then, may the Force be with you.
Thanks for calling. This is Han Solo, and I'm going to be keeping you company for the next few hours right here on the Midnight Shift. Something's